Good evening. This is Belumi Asende. Reading with me is
Afolakemi Akobi. Good evening.
bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth report, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlight. Senate cautions federal government against removal of electricity subsidy.
Governor Seyi Makinde rates late Ondo Governor Rotimi Akeredolu high on Human Rights Index.
DSS urges labor leaders to shelve planned protests.
South African government to use foreign reserves to pay off debt.
Now, the details. The Senate today urged the federal government not to remove electricity subsidy, given the current hardship in the country. The resolution of the Senate followed its consideration and approval of a motion moved during plenary on the need to retain the subsidy on electricity. The motion was sponsored by the senator representing Adamawa Central, Aminu Iya Abbas. Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, had last week declared that it was now very difficult to sustain subsidy on electricity, adding that Nigeria must begin to move towards a cost-effective tariff model. He revealed that the country was currently indebted to the tune of 1.3 trillion naira to electricity generating companies and $1.3 billion debt to gas companies.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Special Committee on Oil Theft has pledged support for the National Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) to protect oil pipelines and other oil and gas assets. This is in a bid to tackle oil theft, vandalism, and other activities inimical to the economy of the country. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Al-Hassan Ado Duguwa, made the pledge during a visit by committee members to the headquarters of the NSCDC in Abuja. Honorable Ado Duguwa, who was represented by the vice chairman of the committee, Honorable Olawashegun, commended the NSCDC Commandant General, Dr. Ahmed Audi, for the activities of the Corps, which have yielded positive results. He stressed the need to conduct a comprehensive review, audits, and risk assessments to ensure protection of the pipelines and other critical assets.
In the meantime, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) says 11.94 billion liters of petrol was imported in the first half of 2023. The NBS stated this in its petroleum products distribution statistics for half year 2023 released today in Abuja. The report said the figure of 11.94 billion liters of petrol reported in the first half of 2023 amounted to an increase of 22. It noted that 2.83 billion liters of diesel was imported in the first half of 2023. This indicates an increase of 49.72% compared to the 1.89 billion liters recorded in the first half of.
Will greatly miss the former governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu SAN. He described him as an embodiment of humility and aggressive fighter for human rights. The governor gave the commendation in his message to the special court session in honor of the late Rotimi Akeredolu, held at the Ondo State High Court complex in Akure. Governor Seyi Makinde, represented by the Oyo State Deputy Governor Barrister Bayo Lawal, charged Nigerians to emulate the virtues of Aketsi, the departed was fondly called, adding that late Governor Akeredolu actively fought for regional and national unity. The Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa also described late Akeredolu as an achiever who successfully influenced the progress of the state with fairness and equity, pledging that 7 years' legacies of the late governor would be upheld. The Chief Judge of Ondo State, Honorable Justice Ayedun Odushola, hailed Arakunrin Akeredolu as a courageous fighter who faced the serious security challenges in the state and Nigeria at large with ingenious courage, noting that his approach later became nation model. The court session was attended by the Governor of Kwara State and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, The wife of the deceased, Mrs. Betty Akeredolu, some other family members, and the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Iyabo Yerima, represented by Justice Boyede Akintola.
The Oyo State government has reiterated its commitment to ensuring that the state is free of illegal mining activities, which could be harmful to the public. This was made known by the Director General of Oyo State Mineral Development Agency, Mr. Abiodun Oni, during an inspection exercise of 2 illegal mining companies in the state. Our reporter, Grace Fadaini, who monitored the exercise, has the details.
In a bid to ensure proper mining activities and safety of the residents in the state government, through its Agency on Mineral Development, engaged in an inspection exercise of 2 mining companies in Ibadan. It will be recalled that an explosion, which claimed lives and properties caused by some dynamite stored in an apartment in Bodija area, recently occurred in the state following the activities of
illegally, mining illegally. But they have well. To help
Fadayi. This US News.
The foundation laying ceremony of the proposed Lagelu West LCDA Secretariat Complex holds on Thursday, 22nd February 2024. According to a release signed by the political head and administrator of Lagelu West LCDA, Alhaji Bashir Latinwo, venue of the ceremony is the LCDA's permanent site beside the NO Ido High School along Eniosha Road, Olorudaba, Ibadan.
As temperature rises, the risk of heat-related illnesses, particularly heat stroke, has become a pressing concern for communities worldwide, with the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) projecting that air temperatures could remain as high as 40 degrees Celsius in the coming days. It's crucial for individuals to be aware of the risks and take necessary precautions. In this report, our reporter Adiola Oladele takes a look at preventive measures the public should take to mitigate the impact of heat stroke.
Heat stroke, a severe form of heat illness, occurs when prolonged exposure to high temperatures, often exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, overwhelms the body's ability to cool down. This condition can result from prolonged exposure to high temperatures, especially when coupled with dehydration and lack of proper ventilation. Individuals engaging in strenuous outdoor activities, such as sports or manual labor, are particularly susceptible to heat stroke. In a chat with BCS News, a resident doctor of the emergency department, UCH, Dr. Utman Adedeji, explained that if left untreated, heat stroke can lead to severe complications, including organ damage, brain injury, and even death. He emphasized the importance of recognizing early symptoms, including headache, dizziness, nausea, rapid heartbeat, and convulsion, and seeking immediate medical attention if these symptoms occur.
People that are at risk of heat stroke, heat exhaustion, that can have a debilitating effect of this heat, they are the small children, the infant and children. They are caregivers to ensure that they are well hydrated at every time. Give them more water, more fluids at every time. We have our aged, the old people above 65. They should take water regularly, because when heat stroke or heat exhaustion happen, they are more affected. A pregnant woman, they have a child in utero, they should take more fluids to avoid complications of these heats. Also, we have those that have one medical condition or another, hypertension, diabetes, just to mention, and those that are on the big side, the obese people, they should take a lot of fluids.
Highlighting preventive measures, Dr. Adedeji further stressed the significance of staying hydrated by drinking plenty of fluids, especially water, and avoiding excessive alcohol and caffeine consumption, which can contribute to dehydration.
So what are the other things that could be done? Tree planting, because they are part of the problems we have. A lot of deforestation, you cut trees to build industries and other things. So all of these fossil fuels too, this carbon monoxide from exhaust and other things, they are depleting the ozone layers, and they are making the heat. There's supposed to be a cover in the sky that prevents the intensity of these heat from getting to us. So when it is not available or it's getting depleted, then we'll feel the effect of the heat more because of industrialization.
Also speaking with BCS News via a phone call, Director of Health Services, University of Ibadan Health Center, Dr. Aderonke Ajav, recommended wearing lightweight, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, seeking shade or air-conditioned environments during peak heat hours, and limiting outdoor activities during the hottest parts of the day.
In the condition where it is noticed that it appears what I'm doing is not yet helping, the places that are closest to blood vessels inside, like the armpit, even putting a towel in water and putting it in your armpit is a way of dissipating heat. So all these are preventable measures of prevention, which I think all of us can do.
The medical experts recommended that by staying informed, staying hydrated, and staying cool, individuals can mitigate the threat of heat stroke on their health and well-being. Adiola Oladele, BCS News.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of your state, Ibadan. International Mother Tongue Day is observed globally every year on February 21st to recognize and promote linguistic and cultural diversity and multilingualism. Staff reporter Dupe Feintola in this report takes a look at the history, significance, and theme of the day.
According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, International Mother Language Day was recognized on the initiative of Bangladesh and has been observed throughout the world since year 2000. The UN agency expressed concern over the disappearance of languages across the world. For instance, it is said that globally, over 40% of the population do not have access to education in the language they speak or understand. A language expert, Dr. Nia Kogbe, who said the basis of a language begins at the family level, appealed to proprietors to place emphasis on mother tongue as government are not doing enough.
Whether there has been progress or there has been results these past few years, well, I will say yes. Out of the efforts of these associations all over Yoruba land, we've seen states like Lagos, adopting Yoruba language, making it compulsory for the admission into their higher institutions in Lagos State. And here in Oyo State too, effort is also being made to ensure that the government lift this language up. See, these are peripheral efforts. They are important, but the basis of a language survival has to do with the parents.
An educationist, Dr. Muyiwa Bangbeshe, who said any nation of people that loses control of their mother tongue are lost, also urged the people not to see their mother tongue as a culture.
We did a research where we tested some children from homes where the mothers don't speak English with those from homes where the mothers speak English to them. And we found that those children from homes where the mothers don't speak tongue, especially from the early, there was a 65% improvement in mastery, in performance among that cadre.
Currently, 40% of the global population lacks access to education in their native language, a figure that exceeds 90% in certain regions. And this informed the theme for this year's celebration. Multilingual education is a pillar of intergenerational learning. Research underscored the benefit of using learners' native language in education, fostering better learning outcome, self-esteem, and critical thinking skills.
Through the mother tongue, through Yoruba language, if you teach your children, you teach your pupils, you teach the students this language, that is enough to ensure that the language survives this generation and is passed on to coming generation.
As the world marks the International Mother Language Day, it is hoped that stakeholders will put in more effort at protecting the indigenous language. Tupaye Fentola, PCS News.
The Department of State Services (DSS) has urged organized labor today to shelve its planned protest against the prevailing economic situation in the country. This was contained in a statement by its spokesman, Peter Afunaya. The Secret Service urged the union to pursue dialogue and negotiation rather than engage in conduct that could heighten tensions. The DSS also urged prioritizing public safety and harmony. It further called on all sectors, including political parties, opposition groups, religious and traditional institutions, civil society and non-governmental bodies to eschew violence and demonstrate leadership and statesmanship in these challenging times.
Meanwhile, the organized labor in Niger State has embarked on an indefinite strike, shutting down government offices and hospitals. The action is in protest of what the workers described as a violation of civil service laws following state government appointment of politicians as executive directors in government parastatals in the state. A visit to government offices today saw the gates under lock and key, including healthcare facilities across the 25 local government areas of Niger State. The Niger State Governor, Umar Bango, had earlier appointed several persons to assume office as executive directors of finance, administration and operations, as well as the chairman, members and permanent commissioners of local government service commission, among others.
Cyberbullying has been described as an act of using technology to create psychological torment on another individual. This was the view of a cybersecurity expert in a chat with BCOS News while speaking on the impact of cyberbullying on its victims. In this report, our reporter, Damilola Daudu, takes a look at the impact of cyberbullying on its victims. The report is presented by Bimbo Akombi.
Cyberbullying is the use of electronic communication to bully or harass someone. It can take many forms, including sending threatening or hurtful messages, spreading rumors or lies about someone, or posting embarrassing or hurtful photos or videos of someone online. Despite the importance of technology, its negative influence cannot be overlooked, ranging from the consequences it has on victims, including depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. For example, several abusive and derogatory words were used in the Super Eagles player Alex Iwobi, saying it was the cause of the Super Eagles losing their final match. This led to him deleting all his social media posts and locking his comments section. Over the years, several other individuals have been victims of online cyberbullying, among others. In a chat with BCS News, the cybercrime security expert, Dr. Babatunde Ayinla, while highlighting the impact of online cyberbullying, noted that it demoralizes its victims.
Any act that can cause, that can torment anybody on the cyber could be classified as this. Cyber stalking, you keep monitoring people unnecessarily, could also be classified as this. Now, when we come to the impact of cyber bullying on the mental health, you see, it demoralized. It can cause a kind of neuro problem, depression. In fact, you see a lot of implications of cyberbullying on our adolescents today. Many of them commit suicide. So that's why you see some of them, they are just going on their way without even communicating, discussing with anybody. It kills their emotion too.
While stating the impacts of online cyberbullying, he reminded that there is an existing enabling law barring cyberbullying.
This awareness is important for people to be aware that there is something cyberbullying. You cannot just hurt on cyber platform anyhow. Your heart, your action is being monitored, and these can be reported, and then you can be guilty. There is no ignorance in law. So having this kind of awareness, bringing people to this understanding, is part of the thing that can curb this. The law will play its own role. At least to a certain level, it will reduce it.
Cyberbullying have painfully come to stay in Nigeria and in the world at large. And since its impacts are negatively bad, government and other stakeholders need to set laws guiding against it straight.
On the foreign scene,